In a quiet village nestled between rolling green hills and whispering palms, there lived a young man named Ikenna. Strong, quiet, and kind-hearted, Ikenna was not born with silver in his mouth, but he was gifted with a heart of gold. From a young age, he denied himself every luxury. No new clothes, no outings, no indulgence, just so he could chase a dream that wasn't even his. That dream was Chiamaka. Chiamaka was the village beauty. Intelligent, ambitious, and sharp-witted, she was everything Ikenna believed he wasn't. But love doesn't ask permission. It finds a home wherever it chooses, and it had made its home in Ikenna's chest the moment he saw her walk home from the river, sunlight caught in her braids. Chiamaka came from a struggling family, her parents barely able to keep food on the table. But Ikenna was undeterred. He took up every job possible, farming by day, bricklaying by dusk, even fishing through moonless nights. He saved every naira, every coin, and before long, he approached Chiamaka's father with a bold offer. "Let me sponsor her education," he said. "Let me help her become someone great. Then I will marry her if she agrees." At first, the family was stunned, then grateful, and eventually expectant. Ikenna's generosity became a thing of village lore. He worked the family's farm, bought her mother a grinding machine, paid her brother's hospital bills, and built a new roof when rain nearly collapsed their house. All the while, he waited. Chiamaka left for the city to study at a prestigious university. Ikenna never visited, not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't afford to miss a day's work. He sent money every month like clockwork, along with handwritten letters filled with hope, warmth, and dreams of the future. The replies came slower, then shorter, then stopped altogether. But he made excuses for her. She's busy. Exams. Seminars. Maybe her hostel has no power again. Then came the final year. Graduation was near. The village prepared to celebrate her return. Ikenna was already building a new room in his father's compound, a room that would one day be theirs. One crisp morning, the news came. Chiamaka was engaged to Chief Ikenna's son, a rich oil contractor from Port Harcourt, who had met her at a youth seminar. The wedding was announced on Facebook with sparkling rings, fancy clothes, and a caption, "God has blessed me with my soulmate." Ikenna didn't understand. He couldn't. He didn't speak for 2 days. On the third day, he collapsed outside the half-finished room he was building. When they found him, his left side was paralyzed. A stroke, the doctors said, brought on by shock and prolonged stress. The village was enraged. People gathered, whispers grew. How could she do that? After all he did. Was it her plan from the beginning? Some swore they saw her walking with a new fiancé when she visited months ago, long before the engagement was public. Some claimed she had changed her number to avoid Ikenna. Others believed the chief's family must have used charm or spiritual manipulation. Ikenna's mother, bitter and broken, accused Chiamaka's parents of betrayal. The village elders summoned them for questioning. But Chiamaka's father simply said, "She is a grown woman. She chose love." But love had already been chosen for her. One night, about a month later, something strange happened. The chief's compound was attacked. No one was hurt, but the walls were marked with charcoal symbols, and strange feathers were left by the gate. A note was found tied to the railing. Betrayal has a price. Panic spread. Rumors turned into legends. Some said Ikenna's ancestors were angry. Others blamed a jealous former lover. But one man, old Papa Udo, muttered to anyone who would listen, "There's more to this than you think. That girl didn't change her mind just for money." Someone whispered in her ears. Someone who wanted Ikenna ruined. The village turned on itself with suspicion. One day, Chiamaka returned alone, without her husband-to-be. Her eyes were sunken, and her once glowing face was pale. She walked to Ikenna's home and dropped to her knees by his bedside. "Ikenna," she whispered, trembling, "I didn't mean for it to happen like this. They told me you wouldn't survive. That you were using me. That you had another woman. They showed me photos, messages, lies. I was confused, and by the time I realized the truth, I had already agreed to the marriage. But I left him. I couldn't go through with it." Ikenna's one good eye looked at her, full of sorrow. He didn't speak. He couldn't. The stroke had taken that too, but his silence was louder than screams. She wept and wept, but the villagers turned their backs. No one forgave her. She left that same night. No one ever saw her again. Years later, a wooden cross stands beside Ikenna's grave, under the old mango tree where he once wrote love letters by lantern light. The room he was building still stands, untouched, half-finished, like their story. The villagers tell the tale to every young man with a burning heart and every woman with a bright future. Love is not just sacrifice. It must be chosen every day, no matter the storm. And if you listen closely, in the still of the night, you might still hear the wind whispering. Betrayal has a price.